Good morning.
Good morning.
Very happy to be here. Sorry, it's a funny morning. So, thank you for joining us on our Wettermann Homes live stream. You should be able to view us on YouTube, TikTok,
Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook, all those.
Twitch for you gamers.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, for reference, moving forward, all those mediums, you should have a live stream. You're going to pull them up. The easiest one is YouTube because your phone usually automatically pull up the app there and go straight to that. So we are a Wettermann Homes Central Florida state licensed contractor. We build throughout the Central Florida area, single family, new construction, semi-custom to custom homes, meaning we have stock plans that we can build straight from. We can make changes to those plans as the client sees fit, or we can create a custom plan with our design partner in their showroom. We can set up consultations to go through all that. We can create estate plans, everything from start to finish, from trees to keys, and we include the toilet paper, so to speak. So that's just our
We
brand.
actually do.
Yeah.
We do actually do that.
Yeah,
You get every bathroom gets a fresh, clean roll.
Yep, and 2 on the toilet.
And that's not just we didn't take it from the porta potty either, so that's the good stuff.
Yeah, so that's what we do. And so what we offer, again, is new single-family construction, again, throughout Central Florida. That's West Volusia down to North Osceola and into parts of East Lake County. And so that's where we are.
Which it obviously includes, those who aren't familiar with there, Seminole and Orange County. That would be the bulk
Correct.
of our,
So
the
yes,
heart of
West
the area.
Volusia. So basically, yeah. So we have Maddie here, who's our producer. Would you consider yourself a producer? Kick you upstairs into that. So we're gonna.
She just got a promotion.
We're gonna share all of her contact information. So if you need any, she organizes podcasts and live streams, of course, and anything. So we'll share that information if you're ever looking for that service, photography services as well. She does that as well. So we'll make sure to share that. Moving forward, before we get into the meat, as a note, because we have a lot of outreach to realtors, FYI, because I had this question this morning, we pay full commission or your agreement with your client, whichever's less.
Yeah, we're not giving away money here.
Yeah, no, but we pay full commission, and that is paid at the slab, not at the CO, as an incentive to our agents. And so,
meaning, for those who might not be too familiar with new construction and how that works, CO being at the certificate of occupancy at when the house is completed. And so we pay at slab. Typically, how far is that into the process? Once we break ground, that doesn't include permitting?
It's probably a couple months, maybe
Couple months.
2 or 3 months from permitting,
Yeah.
Give or take. But it's not the 6 to 8 to 9 months or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So what makes us different? We'll just give you the names and numbers of all our clients, and you can ask them. Every single client. That's what we can say. So diving right in, we're constantly running up against right now. We actually right now have clients who are pushing us to go to contract, which is wonderful. And so, but on the flip side of it, we have quite a handful of prospective clients that are looking for land. And we've discussed this many times before on our live stream, but we want to reiterate it for those who are new, and just as a matter of refresher, that we are engaged in a lot of lot prospecting. And so specifically what that means, we build in a community called Wedgefield, which is east of Lake Nona. It was platted back in the 60s for NASA, but there's a lot of large lots. It's a really great area. As an example, we've sent out prospecting letters to basically every lot owner in Wedgefield, and soliciting them basically to say, hey, if you're interested in selling your lot, we have clients looking for land. Now, our clients have particular tastes. Either they need a certain size because we're creating an estate plan for them, which includes the residence and a pool and a separate AD or accessory dwelling unit, or a mother-in-law, detached mother-in-law suite, all those names are what you might consider. So those clients need a specific lot, whether it be width and or depth or size. We have one client that really desires to have the lot face the north or the east because they want a pool, and their current pool circumstance is not optimum, and so that's what they particularly want, with the other criteria of a certain size with a certain amount of uplands or non-wetlands.
A lot of that being where the sun is in a certain position.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it comes down to. If I
Right.
think, in the morning, they don't want the sun coming through a certain window. In the evening, they want it facing a certain way. So things just as specific as that. So that narrows down the options.
Correct.
And why it's so, when Kurt was mentioning about lot prospecting, we literally sending out letters to lot owners saying, and so we have very specific needs of very specific buyers.
And so that necessitates us turning over every rock. Having said all that, again, coming back to the main topic of land acquisition and due diligence is we have very, I don't want to say proprietary, but we have very specific ways where we search out all the people who own lots in a geographic area, whether it be, how do you do the criteria to do your search?
Oh, so depending on where we're looking, I have a database, and so it could be based on zip code.
Okay.
It can be based on, I can use the legal description. So if we're going for example, for Wedgefield, we're going to get a little bit into the weeds, but Wedgefield, in the legal description, it was named Rocket City. So in the legal description, you'll say that. So I can search specific lots based on that, and that'll narrow down the criteria. Lot size. Sometimes it's helpful to do an estimated land value. If something's, there's some in there, for example, that are $100, which means it's not a viable lot. They just put some kind of...
And on that note too, there are lots that are isolated, meaning they're landlocked, and they'll have certain descriptions in the legal description that will dictate that it's landlocked and it's not usable for us or the client. Or they're priced at a value of like $7,500. And we know that that's a complete waste of our time. So anyways, we also have ways that we filter out really viable lots for our clients. And so that goes out to any people who are watching that are agents and or clients, that we can do a specific area with all those criteria that are not listed, and maybe the owners have never thought about listing or anything like that, that we will. So the last batch of letters, I think I sent out 225 letters last week. And some of those people own several lots, so it dictate less. But so we have the option, hopefully, to uncover 500, 600, 700 lots in a particular area. That is just one platted development, and that's not even the zip code of the area. Again, that's part of our due diligence and prospecting. And then the specifics of the due diligence would be, because we deal with wetlands a lot, we deal with that extensively. Almost every single time is basically, it's just a matter of the process for us with our experience. And so you can rest assured that we have this subcontractor base and the trade partners that we have every step of the process down, where we can handle that. Now, the other part of that too is, please expect with a prospective buyer that yes, potentially you are going to have to come out of pocket, maybe $750 roughly for a wetlands assessment to get the due diligence done that we need. The lot owner sometimes will not pay any money for that. If you want that land, please go into expecting that. We consider that an insurance policy. It's better to spend $750 and not spend $100,000 and then just be done with it.
Think of it like a home inspection for the lot.
Nobody
would go into a house being like, we'll just wing it. I'll trust the seller, and the seller might not know. And unfortunately, and Kurt has stressed this with a lot of lot owners in Wedgefield, is if you own land in Wedgefield,
or anywhere for that matter,
have a due diligence done. As an owner of land, it's very, very helpful, and it lets everybody know up front, because that's a negotiating tool. Because we will base if we're representing a buyer, we will base the price off of uplands, meaning land that is buildable.
Non-wetlands.
Anything that is wetlands, we don't include that in the buildable area, so we don't technically include that in the price. We want usable land, and so our offer price will dictate that.
As an example, we will always use the term as an example, so you understand where we're coming from. I own a lot in Wedgefield as a builder with one of my previous clients, due to our great relations with our clients. So as a builder, I have already done the wetlands assessment, I've got the wetlands permit, and I've had a site plan done already, so a prospective buyer knows exactly what our intentions are with the lot and what we can do. That client and I bought the lot. It's 2.7 acres. It is all wetlands, but we got such a good deal on it. We're like, hey, what have we got to lose? Current stipulations now and requirements by the local environmental protection department says you can only mitigate up to a quarter acre. So that's really only a quarter acre out of 2.7 acres that we can use to build on. We don't evaluate that land based off the 2.7 acres. We evaluate it based on the 0.25 of usable land. That's how we evaluate the pricing. So we say that to lot owners saying, I'm practicing what I'm preaching. So it is in your best interest to get the wetlands assessment done ahead of time, because would you expect to pay and invest $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 in a piece of land without a basic wetlands assessment done? Of course you wouldn't. And so it's a small price to pay. And so saying that to both lot owners and prospective buyers is that here's the criteria and stipulations that we recommend, or we will instruct our clients or buyers that we will not even evaluate a lot if you don't have a wetlands assessment. If we do and we find out that there is either more wetlands or less wetlands, say that 3 times fast, it's going to be a square foot price based on the amount of uplands. So cut and dry. I think we beat that horse to death.
Yep.
If you have any questions based on this, you can ask real time on our social media platform, or write them down. You can email us, text us, DM us on social media, and we can answer them, and then we'll use them for future reference as well.
And also, if for realtors, if you know anybody who owns land, or somebody's looking to list, I know, we're both realtors. I've been a realtor for quite a few years now.
I'm not a realtor. I'm a licensed agent.
Yeah, we're builders who happen to have our real estate license. I guess that's a better way to put it. And so you kind of always shy away from land. Like, okay, you kind of do it as a favor if they give you a listing. But please, if you have those opportunities, either A, go ahead and take them. Get in touch with us. We can partner with you, give you marketing materials and saying, hey, we're listing this lot. We also have a prospective builder if you're looking to build, because I know it can be a challenge for some people who are just coming in. Maybe they don't know any builders in the area. Maybe they're new to the area and they don't know anybody. We've tried to get in touch with contractors before. It can be tough for us, and we work in the business. So please, if you have lots, reach out to us, let us know, because we'd be happy to either A, work with you, or as Kurt had mentioned before, we have, I don't know, it was the turn of the beginning of the year, there was a lot more, there was an uptick in people who were interested in building. So definitely please reach out to us if you have any vacant land, or anybody who maybe they have a lot and they're, they haven't even thought about selling. So, yeah. Put a bow on that one.
Yep, I think so. And so having said all that too, we're gonna leapfrog a little bit forward based on, so that whole process is land acquisition. So that's really the where question of where we're gonna build. And then so just wanted to touch briefly on what we build. And so right now we just happen to be working with, the majority of what we're working with right now is custom clients. So we have 4 or 5 clients right now in the process of creating custom home plans. And so each one of them is completely different. And so we're fairly quick right now on getting pricing out, so we can price out a custom plan. We can sit down with our design partner and create a plan from scratch. We have one client who had a concept online, and our designer took that to fruition. We met with a client yesterday. As a side note, since we're licensed contractors and builders, I always come to the defense of builders. I'm like, I don't know why they have such a bad reputation. And then I meet with the client that we had yesterday, and I hear the horror stories. I'm like, oh, that's why. Mm-hmm. So I think they were going through the process for a couple years.
I think they said 4 years.
4 years between the designer and the contractor. What a nightmare. And so to sit down with them, and we had a full sketch done in 3 weeks. They hadn't even met with our designer, just sent us the concept, and they were so gracious and appreciative of our design partner and working with us. So it was really refreshing to hear. So that's just a little sales hat to us that we can sit down through the whole process. And we've instituted, we'll have pre-design meetings, post-design meetings. This meeting we had was a budget meeting where we'll go through the budget. We have budgets that we have available for our clients in the owner's portal on our CRM software that is a line-by-line item, including our builder O&P. And so we're very open about that. So having said that, I don't think we have any more questions. We kind of blew through that one really quick. We like to keep it short and sweet. We're going to do these repetitively, so we want to do more volume instead of length of time, because I know nowadays with social media, our attention span is quick, so we like to be quick and cut and dry. Hopefully this will, this is open to everybody. So we had an agent ask multiple times this week and last week, can anybody watch? Anybody can watch. This is free and open and available to anybody. And we especially encourage your clients to please watch these videos to get an idea of who we are and what we can offer. This is really important to us to have you and your clients, if you're an agent, view our live streams. They will always be available on YouTube post recording, always.
Somebody from YouTube commented about having a lot. We'll reach out to you to discuss that.
So thank you for we did get that message. So having said all that, we always want to touch off and reiterate certain questions that we have. What's a good way to evaluate a builder? Ask their past clients. Good predictor of the future is past behavior. Again, that's why we start with that. But what makes us different? Ask our clients. That'll give you an over idea of the experience. Technically, our pricing model is kind of a hybrid. We're a cost plus flat fee, never to exceed. And so that's why we're stipulating that we have open pricing that we show with our clients. It's more of creating a plan for our clients and from start to finish. So that's kind of who we are. If you have any more specific questions on who we are or what we do, you can always reach out. But communication is one of the things that we try and pride ourselves on. So that's why we have all social media platforms. Obviously, call, text, or email anytime.
And just an example of keeping in touch with our clients. As a realtor, I would always make it a habit to, when you have a closing, I will always follow up 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. And so that was kind of a barometer that I use. Well, as a builder, you definitely want to keep that going. And so at a year point, I will make it a point to contact them every year after that. So I literally go on my phone, and when it's been 1 year, I'll skip to the next year in my calendar, and then year 3 and year 4. And so on one client, since I've been doing that, I'm on year 6. And so I see it in my phone. It's like, hey, year 6, Joe and Ann, it was like, hey, congratulations, happy 6-year anniversary. Hope everything's going well. And so pretty much every time, nobody has any issues, but things come up. And one time a client was like, yeah, thank you, everything's great. She was like, yeah, last year we did there was kind of an issue with the septic tank. And I was like, well, why didn't you reach out to us? And she's like, well, I didn't want to bother you guys. And I was like, no, always reach out. But yeah, we do keep in lengthy contact. And it's amazing when you keep in contact with your clients, what might be a little issue gets taken care of relatively easily. It's when you don't keep in contact that those little issues become big issues.
That's why you don't get any questions during the follow-ups, is because we address them beforehand. Couple of questions that popped up. If a lot, so we're just going to read the person's question so you have context. If a lot containing wetlands only shows hydrology, I feel like I'm getting tongue-tied here, during rainy periods, is it possible that a future assessment could increase the amount that is uplands? So meaning, is it possible that, and I'm going to reinterpret your question for everybody else. If I'm wrong, we can always readdress this because this is very important. So basically the question is, can either over time or during the rainy season, we live here in Central Florida, so we have a dormant and rainy season, which starts our rainy seasons during the summer. we have a dormant season during the winter. So is it possible that the assessment will be different maybe during the dormant season or during the rainy season? Yes, unfortunately, and no. So it can change possibly during those seasons and over time as wetlands and hydrology and water bodies and stuff maybe shift and ebb and flow, that yes, that can change. I had that happen to me once prior to construction, and what a pain in the ass, because it hurt me the opposite way where the wetlands crept into the buildable area and we had to readjust. So yes, it is possible. That's why it's important that a lot owner gets the wetlands permit. It used to be called a CAD, or Conservation Area Determination. What that is when you get the wetlands permit, an assessor comes out, assesses the land, we submit that for the wetlands permit, and then the county comes out and agrees or disagrees. If and when they agree, they stamp that, and that is written in stone for 5 years. And so that's why it's important to get those wetlands assessment. Yes, we recommend at least a wetlands assessment. Optimally, you need to get the wetlands permit, because then it is fixed and guaranteed. Whether we get flooded or it's the rainy season or the dormant season, that is set in stone. So very good question. To answer your question, yes or no. So it's very important.
I'll take, Matt had a question from Facebook. What's the strategy behind offering such a premium product without attaching a premium price tag? I was like,
Thanks, Matt. Yeah,
nice
thanks,
one,
Matt.
nice
Yeah,
one.
we got you.
I would, in all seriousness, what somebody would consider a premium, I would say could be pretty subjective. And behind that, it's not only how much we offer, but what we offer as well. I like to talk in analogies because it helps me formulate, kind of explain. And I say, if you're looking at what we offer, I use it as far as automobiles. If you have a Ford, a Lexus, and a Rolls Royce, I said, we're not the Ford and we're not the Rolls Royce, we're the Lexus. And so we like to offer very nice features. It's not going to be
upgraded.
Yep.
Very nice. Sounds like
what other builders would consider upgrades, we consider standard features. So some people might look at our price and say that's a premium, and could be. Now, we are very flexible on our budgets too, and that's why we don't offer certain selections. We just offer a budget for a scope, meaning for cabinets or tiling. Now, you could spend as much money as you want, or for example, somebody asked us, I think she asked us if we offer discounts or are we flexible on pricing. And I said, yes, we don't offer discounts, but if you want to remove something, we're happy to do that. So it kind of establishes that we value what we offer. If you were going to go into a Lexus dealership and you wanted to save money, you wouldn't tell them, could you switch out the leather seats and put in cloth seats? They'd kind of look at you and be like, oh, that's not what we do here. Maybe you'd feel more comfortable at one of our lower stakes tables. So that's kind of the analogy I like to use.
Let me mitigate what you said there a little bit, is that we start at an upgraded price, because none of our clients have ever said, nope, I just want a base home. That's why one of our monikers is, model home taste on a base home budget. Because again, all of our clients have appreciated the standard that we've set. Nobody has said, no, I prefer the base home tile or something like that. So they are all upgraded, but that is based on our experience, and it is based on, technically it's based on our trade partner, where they evaluate, or they have products ranging from a level 1 to 8. We usually do about a level 4, because that provides us the widest variety of products at the best value of pricing. So it's a happy medium, and we do have to be cognizant of that. We want to have a higher quality product, but we also want to be cognizant of market pricing as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that was that one wetlands question was from my brother. I didn't realize that, because I said MHLW. What's that mean? His middle names are Herman Ludwig, so we just had to call him out on
It's very German.
Yeah, it's very German. You can tell we're German. So
I know it sounded so technical. I'm like, yeah, this is people.
Good question. So in closing remarks, we can see we get a kick out of ourselves. So hopefully it's entertaining to you too. We wanted to thank you for joining. we have some people that one person commented that it was short notice. We do have restrictions on when we can send out notifications. It usually will be 15 minutes before. We usually will send out an email a couple days before reminding you of the live stream. We can also send that one day before, but usually we'll have text reminders. So please like, share, comment, and YouTube will have this. It takes us a day to edit it, but then the full video will be available on YouTube to share. You can DM us, call us, email us, text us with questions. We have 1 or 2 numbers everywhere. There should be no reason why you can't get in contact with us. And so we appreciate you joining. We look forward to the next time, and we look forward to being able to serve you and your clients. How's that sound? Sound nice and salesy? Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Go to our social medias,
Yeah.
and if you would apply a slight bit of pressure to that thumbs up button, you need to smash the way up. If you watched our streams, you know you can't stand that. So I always like to make light of it. But yeah, please follow our social medias. It's super helpful. Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.